Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt the shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emanuel Rose, and I want to say welcome. And today we're going to talk about what I'm calling the agentic pivot, which is the idea that we're accepting that AI agents and LLMs are part of business world from this point moving forward in our careers. And just like the internet didn't ask permission to destroy your business model, though those decades previous, neither are the AI agents going to ask for permission. And so, the first thing is that the AI agents can be used for so many different things, from making assessments of financial situation, or reporting, to what I'm having lots of success with for the podcast, which is outreach and going and training the agents to go and find potential podcast guests, and then connecting with them and generating conversations to the point of people booking to have a meet and greet. Also, we're seeing lots of success with outreach to have conversations about sales processes and in initial conversations in the sales process. So one of the great things is that these agents can ingest massive amounts of data and then do personalized outreach based on that data. So it's important to cut through the hype and the hustle and figure out how these tools can benefit the business. So what we're seeing right now is that over 80% of CEOs believe that AI will transform their industry in the next couple of years. Yet even more, 91% say their AI initiatives are creating more complexity, not less. And this dissonance that's being created by the implementation of technology is, in my opinion, an avoidance of structured approaches. And we know that tech adoption is successful when we can follow a few basic steps in a sequence. I've built it out into 10 steps that may or may not be what works for you, but you definitely want to start in an organization or pause and restart in your organization with some amount of planning, some amount of strategic planning, either with a professional, get some help to come in and do that 4, 6, 8 hour, 2-day process, or through a tool like the tool that I built that is the strategic planning tool. It's called strategynavigator.ai. But that you get the people together and you work to get a shared vision, ask some questions, get some direction as a group, and then work to find use cases that will have some immediate impact. And again, it's good to get professional help to go through this process, because outside help is going to be able to run through these processes without emotional attachment to existing work. And that's oftentimes part of the challenge. So the strategic planning process is super critical, and then developing some use cases, and then inside those use cases, breaking down what's happening now in your standard operating procedures or your SOPs, and then building out a structured process for implementation and testing. And of course, the change management is critical. And so in this phase one, we have to have planning, we have to have SOP and use case identification, and then we have to accept that there's going to be change management inside of that. And that at least sets the stage to have some success. And the professionals that you hire are going to be able to help guide you through that. So there's, in a mid-market company, there's a couple $1 million a year that's being lost due to decision delays, burned out leaders, and then pilots that are poorly conceived, and then end up going stagnant. So AI should be reducing pressure, and it shouldn't just be another project that needs to be managed, but it should be producing outcomes. So what I'm seeing in the successful deployments is once we go through that process of planning and design and testing and then implementation, is that it's a black box of success. Of course, we still manage it to make sure that that there's not scope creep, or that things are still contained correctly in the implementation. But it is a black box for the clients, and they are not having to worry about AI anymore. So the next thing is that we need to look at AI as a system that's being designed, not just a capability that we're buying, and that it does demand some amount of attention, governance, and justification in the beginning, but that once we accept those things, then it is just part of the infrastructure. Much like you don't think about whether your electricity is going to be on each day, the AI should be working in the background, producing the results that you set up for. And the agentic pivot is not about more AI. It's about better designed use of AI. So, for instance, when we're building our AI agents, there's a series of about 15 steps that we go through in order to make sure that there's the correct governance and guardrails, and focus on a clear SOP and a clear outcome, a clear deliverable, and then clear KPIs. And that in each process, there's multiple agents that are deployed. And so you have to decide in your organization, is there somebody or a department that is to be focused on these things? Or is this something that you're going to outsource and allow somebody from outside your organization create, monitor, manage, and deploy it on your behalf? And either answer is good, but what's critical is that you think of it as infrastructure, and that you're placing infrastructure, and that there's KPIs that are being reported back to you, as well as the outcomes that you were designed for. So the book that I wrote that is still valid for the next foreseeable future. It all moves so quickly, you never know. But the agentic pivot is the book, and it's a high-level review of the process to create planning, to create SOPs, and to get value from AI as infrastructure, not just testing and experimentation. I hope this conversation has been valuable for you, and I hope that you continue to review and find ways for AI tools to add value and leverage to your workday as an executive and to your team's capacity to produce for your clients and customers. And I hope that you save some time this week by implementing some AI, and with that time, that you continue to upskill, that you spend that time with your friends and family, and that you get outside into nature, away from the screens. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn.